Welcome back to the Sit with Tracy show. You're live with your host, Tracy Williams, and today I have with me the legendary. Well, if you're in Atlanta, you got to know this man right here. The plug, Mr. Jerome Dorn, is in the house.
What's up, everybody?
In the house media is with me today. What's going on, Jerome?
And I appreciate you having me on the show today. Let's do it. See what's going on.
See what's going on?
See what's going on.
All right. So you've been quarantine balling on Facebook, I see.
Quarantine balling, yeah.
I love those posts, those quarantine balling posts. They are hilarious. I've been reading those every day. So how's things been with you with the COVID-19 and
It's I'm used to being on the go, being on the move, and to have to sit at home and just do nothing for a minute. But it gave me an opportunity to kind of like reflect on some things and get some things done that I needed to do. As bad as I wanted to be out there with all the protesting and all that, I mean, this is something historical that's going on right now.
right.
I just couldn't do it because something is out there.
Right.
And I'm going by the medical experts, what they're saying, but I'm taking my time, keep doing the safety guidelines and things of that nature.
Right.
We did a lot of research, and planning an event that I'm doing, and we did our research. So I think if you keep within the guidelines and safe distancing and the mask, it'll be fine. But for me to go out there to a different protesting where there were people with no masks and I couldn't do it.
Right.
No matter how, I mean, you don't know what it took for me to restrain myself from just jumping on a plane and going here, going there.
And being a part of yes. And with that said, we here, but let's take it back because you're a native of Philly. A lot of people do not know Jerome Dorn. And when I say legendary, I truly mean legendary Jerome Dorn. I mean, as you guys can see, here's his book, Doors Opening Doors. You probably see me post that. This book, the timeline, in this book, oh my God. So as I said, taking it back, you've done marches before. You've done the Million Man March. You done a march back in '87. I saw you with Cuba, like a riot.
In '87.
It was like a Cuban riot.
Oh yeah, I was working for the Department of Justice then, and they were having some problems with the detainees. And I was involved in the riot here in Atlanta where the Cubans took over. For those that don't know, during the Muriel Botha fall, Cuba released all his. They made an agreement in the United States. And Cuba made an agreement for the Cubans to come into the United States. And what Castro did was empty his prisons and mental institutions. And they had they realized that there was a crime wave going on pertaining to this Cuban, so they rounded them all up and they held them at the federal penitentiary here in Atlanta. And
it caused a riot.
Well, what actually caused the riot was the United States and Cuba again went back into an agreement for Cuba to take these individuals back. But they would prefer to stay here in jail than to go back into Cuba. So when it was announced that they were going to be sent back, then that's what caused the riot. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what branch were you in at that time? How were you serving?
I was a part of the Department of Justice. I was a federal officer.
All right. Because I know you also served in more than one branch.
Yeah, I served in the Marine Corps and the Army.
Oh wow! Yeah. Some people only do one.
Yeah.
Like
I couldn't get enough.
You couldn't get enough. That's what it was. Okay, so now, and to bring it up to speed with a lot of people know you for your photography. You're legendary for that. You been inducted into the Hall of Fame for journalism.
Yeah.
And which is huge. You say that like it's nothing. Like, yeah. Like, so you've been to the Hall of Fame for journalism. Also, you've been invited to the White House.
Yeah.
You're like one of the, I don't know any others, but as far as we know, you're the only photographer that's been invited every year to the White House to photo the president,
Yeah.
whoever has been elected in-house chief of command at that time.
Yeah. I've had the opportunity, the pleasure of doing both for President Obama's administrations to go to the White House and photograph different events, also under the Clinton administration. So, and not even realizing that I had the opportunity to photograph five presidents, yeah, two sitting, yeah. I happened to catch a photograph with President Obama, Jimmy Carter, and Bill Clinton together at the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington.
You have that on the canvas, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, you had that on the canvas. I've seen your collection. I've seen the collection of the canvas. That now, being able to say that, and of course, I mean, you've known plenty of celebrities, people of platform. You've done a lot of photography with celebrities, but to be able to add the presidents to that form. Now, and you just one of the humblest people I've ever met. So your life journey, like, how do you take it all in? Like, when you get calls to go to photograph presidents, to photograph all these, different celebrities around Atlanta. I'm not gonna name just one celebrity because everybody, everybody knows you. But when you get these calls, and I've been with you personally and seen these relationships, and you actually have genuine relationships with everybody that you have in contact with.
First, I had to give thanks and honor to the Creator who put me on this path and put people in my path to assist me on the journey. None of this is anything that I just one day say, well, I want to do this. I set out to do this. I've learned to just kind of like, I'm not so much religious, but more spiritual. And I just follow that spirit, and I try to treat everybody right. I try to do the right things, and things just come, that's the path. I had nothing to do with it, but just be humble and faithful, and as it's given to me to carry people along with me. So that's, yeah.
So when did you first start doing photography? Like, when did that camera first pick up, or when did you know it was your passion?
Well, I first started when I was in Vietnam. I was in a special operations unit, and we would go behind the lines and gather intelligence information, things of that nature. Sometimes we wouldn't have the proper topographical of the area, so we would have to go and we would do a flyover beforehand and, take photos and, uh, this particular time it was my turn to take the camera. I had no experience, didn't know about a camera, but it was my job, and we did it. When the photos came back, I mean, it was like a map. You can just lay out the photograph. Excuse me. You can just lay out, and it was like a map, and it was like, oh, okay, this is something here. So I went bought my own personal camera, and I guess I can say I did a little bit of combat photography because when we was out on patrols, I remember this one Pacific time. We're sitting in a bomb crater and we're in a firefight and bullets flying out, and I'm sitting there with my camera, like I'm like,
and you taking pictures?
And I'm taking
while
pictures
the bullets
while the
flying?
bullets flying. I'm like, and I didn't think about it until after I got back. I'm like, wait a minute, you can see the dust picking up around. Okay.
Wow.
But from that point, from that point on, where I went, I had a camera, some sort. So yeah. From there, after I got out of the military, I started doing outside the movie theater. I had a backdrop, and while the people standing in the movie line just taking pictures and
people attending the
attending
events.
from there to families and to weddings, and I actually have a rating as an underwater photographer with the Professional Divers Association.
So you can take pictures underwater.
Yeah. No mountain too high, no river too deep. Actually,
wow.
See, and I don't like talking this because it's like you're bragging on yourself, but
you don't have to brag.
I'm
not brag for you.
Yeah,
it's like, and you do, like, even when we have our personal conversations, and I just be wild. It's like, I don't know. You have, and I've told you this, that I am so envious of your life. Like, you have lived a fulfilling life, and it's just been your journey. To you, it's just been your journey. We all have our journeys, and for you, it's just has been your journey. But you have lived you have skydived, you scuba dived, you've done Secret Service, to a large extent, to some, unprecedented things. What have you, and I think I asked you this before, what have you not done? You don't even know how to, what's that? I said, do something with the swords.
Oh, fence, yeah.
You can fence.
Yeah,
you can even fence.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's my sport, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, you can even fence. I was like, okay. Like you, in these different journeys, life has taken you through these different journeys. Like, have you ever reflected? Have you ever sat back and thought about?
No. Sometimes I think about what if I hadn't done this, what would have happened. But I'm like satisfied. I'm like content. I just, I guess I'm at the point where I have a few things on my bucket list that I want
Really?
to do. Yeah.
Right. Share. You have to share because I don't know what you haven't done. So, what are some things on your bucket list?
Africa.
You spoke of that.
Yeah.
Africa, and it wasn't for the pandemic, you would have been there this year. Yeah. You had a trip scheduled, and fortunately through the COVID-19. So
yeah, I think that's the top priority, to get there to the motherland. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share with us on the bucket list?
No.
No, nothing else you want to share with us on the bucket list? Okay. Okay. You want to share that one? Okay. Now, you're reaching for this drink. Now, you guys, we here.
Sipping with Tracey.
You sipping with Tracey, and today we have Bloody Marys.
Mix. Yeah.
Yes. Well, today is version. It's a virgin. It's a virgin for a reason. But Jerome, everywhere we've been, we go places, even on a plane, Jerome has his Bloody Marys, and they're usually not virgin. They're usually not virgin. So tell me, I know with Bloody Marys, they have different variations. Yeah, because you can go to a Bloody Mary, you can have a Bloody Mary, and it's not so good. It's like somebody that make potato salad.
It depends on the location.
You got to know how to make
establishment.
Yeah. So what do you like in yours? Like, is it Tabasco? Is it black pepper? Like
Worcestershire sauce, the olives, especially the olives and the celery. Few places I've been where they have these like string beans that are pickled.
They have them in it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen some of everything from the olives, the pickle, celery, bacon.
Yeah.
So you can add a variety of stuff, different stuff in it. Yeah. But what really makes it, like you say, is according to your taste. Right. Whether it's You like the heat a little bit, the black pepper a little
Like
bit.
it hot, like it hot.
You like it hot? They gotta be
Spicy.
hot. Gotta be spicy. I love it. So now, and it is good. So now what transitioned you from Philly to Atlanta? Well, let's start. How long you been in
this time I've been here since 2011. I was here from 83 to 87. But 87, I went back to Philadelphia. I lived there for a while. I went through a program for Vietnam veterans in Martinsburg, West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And after going through that program, I decided I was going to move there because it's veteran friendly. And in the process of moving there, I came to Savannah to visit a friend. And I ended up staying in Savannah. Ended up getting married in Savannah. We left Savannah, went to Miami, from Miami to Tacoma, Washington. And when we decided to leave Tacoma, where we were going to go, I didn't want to go back to Philly. I didn't want to go to Savannah. And my experience in Atlanta it was great. So I said, let's, try Atlanta. So here I am.
Oh, wow.
Here I am.
And you've been here how long this time? The second time?
Since 2011.
2011, so it's the second time that you've been here. And that's great. That's great. I love it.
Hot Atlanta.
Hot ATL. I like it. And you're a part of just about every event that goes on in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when I first came, I said, well, let me break my camera out because I did do some photo work up in Tacoma and in Miami, but not a lot because I was working as a freelance for different newspapers. So when I came here, I said, okay, let me get into this and see what's happening. So I crashed an event, and
if you know Jerome, you know about the crashing. When you say crashing, he literally means it. We have crashing spots.
Yeah. It was the Black Women Film Network luncheon, and I went in, got in, and I'm sitting at the table, and I met this young lady that she was a writer. She needed photos for her article. So I got you, right? And gave her the photos, ran into her again, same thing. And at this point, I didn't really know who she was. So, but come to find out, she was correspondent for NBC, which led me to getting a contract with MSNBC and also with Jet Magazine. So, it was just a continuous journey. I began to meet people, and being with NBC, me and her, we were the only major media outlets here in Atlanta. Actually, we were responsible for the Southeast region, which is Alabama, Miami, and Atlanta. But it was so much stuff going on here in Atlanta that we never really got to venture out, or very seldom got to venture out into these other areas. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And so one thing led to another thing. And you never know who, just like that, you never know who you're going to meet in Atlanta. Yeah. And like you say, and it takes that one person. And it just start unfolding. Yeah. And it just start happening.
Snowball effect. Yeah.
And it leads all the way up into a book. Yeah. Right? Doors opening doors to life and lessons of Jerome Dorn.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
This book, and this is my book. This is my book. My side autograph book. This book, even with me being with you, reading this book definitely gave me it's like a window to your life, a window to your life. It's so much in here. This is a good read. With you, like, you're humble. And so how how did this book come about? Tell me how this book come about. And the reason why I'm trying to find the right words is because you humble. If you don't read this book, a lot of the stuff people wouldn't know about you.
Yeah.
So how did this? Tell me about doors opening doors. How did this book come about?
I was in Philadelphia. I was covering the Penn Relays, which is a 4-day international track and field event. Actually, it's the largest track and field event in the country. And I was coming home and I was riding Amtrak, and I was sitting next to this young white lady, and we got into a conversation, got to talking, and you know, the next thing you know, we in Washington D.C. we had actually talked nonstop from Philadelphia to Washington D.C., which is about 2.5 hours.
Wow.
So when she was leaving, she was like, "Wow," she says, "You ought to write a book." I'm like, "Here we go, there," because I hear that all the time. You write a book, write a book. I says, "Yeah, I hear that all the time." So we had exchanged information. So like 2 weeks later, she calls me up. She says, "Hey, you mind if I write your memoirs?" I said, "No, not at all." Okay. 2 weeks after that, she came to Atlanta. She spent the week here interviewing me.
Oh wow! The entire week.
Huh?
She
took a whole week. Her and one of her co-workers came down here, Lisa and Adina Labber and Lisa Fair, and they interviewed me. I mean, this was like all for 6 days continuous. Interview with the mic, everything.
Oh, wow.
And there it is. I mean, it did, and the blessing about it, I didn't have to come out a dime out of my pocket. It was she just did that.
And yes, and definitely appreciate her because she did do this. Like myself and a whole lot of others, we do see you and we see your heart. She saw it and she did this because of who you are and everything that you've done for people. So this book is definitely well deserved, and I think she did a great job. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think she did a great job of capturing you.
Yeah.
How you feel about the book?
Once
you read it, I was like, you read it. You read it.
I'm like, who is this guy? And I say that, who is this guy? But then there's a whole lot more. This is just.
So there's a volume 2.
It could be. Yeah, it could be. I'm working on some things. I'm not saying them, but yeah. But as I reflect back on the process, there are some things I really wanted to say. This is all about my kids, my legacy. That there's actually very few people in my family knows this for my full journey.
Not even your family as well?
Yeah. No one knows the whole journey, probably except for one of my brothers that has passed, and he was like my main cheerleader, and I would call him my confidant. I would call him, and we would talk about things, and we had very different viewpoints because he was an activist, but yet he still supported me in my endeavors and my travels.
Right. Yeah. So, all right, now, but this book, what do you want people to get from your book, from reading this?
Well,
what would you like for people to? What is your insight?
Just leaving a legacy, so that my grandkids, my kids, and their kids will know where they came from, what kind of cloth they were made from. Yeah.
So this is definitely a dedication to your loved ones.
Yeah. To families. Yeah.
This is a great book and definitely good. Now tell us, where can we find this book?
Oh, it's on Amazon, Amazon Books. Yeah. Um,
Okay.
opening doors, the life and lessons of Jerome Dorn. Yeah,
Yes.
you find it on Amazon.
All right, so you guys go to Amazon, get this book. It's definitely a good read. It's definitely a good read. Now, we talked about the book leading to other projects and things that's going on. Let's talk about your shirt.
My shirt.
Your shirt.
Philly Weekly. From Philly to Atlanta.
Philly to Atlanta. That shirt
Okay.
means something, right?
Yes, sir. Definitely.
All right, you gonna go smiling on it. Hey, hey, we get ready to do it now. Yeah. Let's talk about the shirt.
Okay, the shirt. This is actually the logo for the Philly to Atlanta group. One of the organizations I've collaborated with. I had a vision of like being here covering events a few years back. One of my friends from New York says, "Man, come on, we're gonna go down. We're gonna cover Bronx Weekend." I'm like, "Bronx Weekend, Bronx Day. What is that?"
Oh yeah.
He say, "Oh, the New Yorkers, they all get together, right?" Okay, so we went, had a good time. They did their thing in the park and in the different clubs. And following year, I'm like, "Hey," I found out, "Hey, there's a Cali Day."
Right.
Okay. Yeah. The Californians doing their thing. I'm like, hey, we got a large Philadelphia community here, and Philly always represent. I don't care where we at, we represent. So I came up with the concept of Philly Day in Atlanta, and I pursued it and pursued it, and really never came to fruition. And I teamed up with some other individuals. Simone Family Entertainment, Next Level Entertainment, Philly to Atlanta Group, and we collaborated and came up with Philly Weekend, and that's June 26th, 27th. 2 days. Philly Feel Fun. That was tongue to Philly.
Yeah, Philly Fun Day. Right. Philly Fun Day. That was a twister.
But, on the 26th, we're having a Philly style basement party. Right. At an undisclosed location. It's a mansion. It's a paid event. We've got Philly's own original gangster. Schoolie D. He is actually one of the originators of gangsta rap. There's a difference between gangster and gangsta. Okay.
So Schoolie D go hard. Schoolie D go hard. Philly style.
Yeah, we have him as our headliner. Raindrop Lopez who is Lisa Lopez's sister. Kevin Savage, I know you know Kevin Savage.
I met Raindrop too. Now, is she performing or she's? We gonna say. Get your tickets, find out. Get your ticket, find out.
But Kevin Savage, you've seen him in The Quad, The Passage, and on American Soul. Right. We've got another individual, Chuck Harris, who's actually my nephew. He's an actor. He's been in quite a bit of films. I can't forget Chuck Harris. At the basement party, we're having a black filmmakers series where we're highlighting different trailers from different films, and we're actually going to show a couple short films. Naturally, our boy Chuck Harris. I mean, not Chuck Harris. Chuck Brown.
I was gonna say Brown. Yeah.
Chuck Brown, Sharonda Jones.
Oh wow!
Okay, who else we got here?
We got a lot of people coming out.
We got a lot of people, and other performers. We got J.K. Simone, who she's the daughter of one of my partners in this. And she's actually starring in the HBO series coming out real soon. And she's an awesome singer, performer. We've got Classic Lloyd, the comedian, coming down. Miraculous,
Miraculous. Yeah. What's up, fam?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah. That's Friday night. Saturday.
That was just one night.
Yes, that's one night.
That was just one night.
Also, there's a mini fashion show Friday night.
Hey.
But Saturday we're going to be at the Lake Louise Pavilion.
Yeah,
in Griffin, Georgia. You know,
I love the lake. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love
Same thing. Philly family style cookout. Family reunion style cookout. We got a meet and greet with the various artists and celebrities that's coming through. We do have some special guest celebrities coming through that we can't name at this point, but yeah.
Of course. Well, we know you there. Let's really. Oh, really? Well, I am super excited about Philly Day in Atlanta. Like, you know, I know this has been a vision of yours for 5 years. So for you to see able to, be able to see it manifest and to come together and with, Philly and Atlanta, and hey, you guys, I'm there. Y'all know I'm there. So I can't wait.
Yeah. I also want to mention the fact that even with the COVID-19 out there, we have safety guidelines that we've established, a protocol. You have to attend our online town hall in order to be able to attend. Once you get there, your temperature be taken. We have a few nurses that's going to be handling that portion of it. But yeah,
absolutely.
You have to attend the town hall. But you can register on Eventbrite at Philly Weekend 2020. That's Philly Weekend 2020 on Eventbrite. And check us out.
Definitely. You guys know where you're going to be. And just make sure you bring your mask. I tell people bring your mask because, I work in the ER too. But so, bring your mask and everybody's coming out. We're going to have a good time. And the guidelines that they've set forth, we're going to adhere to. And it's Philly, you guys. It's Philly. So
have a good time.
I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait like you and anticipating this.
I'm just
You've been 5 years old, been anticipating last year. So like the last year, from last year to this year.
And this, like I say, is because the people that the creator has put in my path that all this is possible. I don't take no credit for anything. And I'm just blessed to be in the midst of some of the people that I'm, I just,
So I know you get also, you get calls, you get emails from people even from other states that want you to mentor them.
Yeah.
They be wanting you to mentor them with photography and just pretty much with different aspects of life. Yeah. So how do you or do you? I've seen you create some superstars. I've seen you create some superstars. I've seen you have developed superstars as well. So with that, how do you take in all of it? Because you just give so willingly.
I'm like, if a person contacts me and say they want to collaborate with me, work with me, be a mentor or whatever, I say, yeah, okay, all right, let's go. You do it. You got my number, and I just wait for the follow up.
So there's no special criteria.
If you follow up and continuously follow up, I'm going to give you what I can. I'm going to do what I can for you.
So pretty much, if you do the work,
you do the work. Yeah. My friend, has a saying. You just one step away. Keep your feet moving. You're one step away from positive change. So if they do the work, I'll be there. It doesn't matter. And that motivates me. And the only thing that I ask is when you're in a position that you
pay for it as well.
That
you pay for it as well. I definitely love it. So what's some advice that you could give let's make sure everybody can hear me. So if you didn't hear before, I do apologize for that technical issue. But
Yeah.
during COVID-19, during the I
Pandemic.
became a grandmother for the first time, and this is my baby, Summer Treasures. And so we had to wait for Jerome to make our debut. So we had to wait for Jerome. So everybody, this is Summer to the world, my booby. I love it. So make sure you guys you follow Jerome on all your social media
Social media, yeah,
platforms.
you can find basically at In the House Media. That's INDAHOUSEMEDIA. Basically on all social media platforms, it'll come up. Just In the House Media. Okay.
In the House Media, all social media platforms. Go to Eventbrite to get your tickets. Philadelphia, Atlanta, June the 26th,
June
27th.
26, 27.
Also, the book opening doors is on Amazon. So definitely go and get the book. Great reads, and you guys, we're out. Thank you for tuning in today. See you next time.
Yo.
Bye. Jerome scared to hold you. Jerome scared to hold you.